Hello, today I'm going to have a look at my future vegetable garden. It's incredibly windy outside, so I thought today we could have a look in the greenhouse at the plants that I will be planting into the vegetable garden in the very near future. I'm Zorab and this is Real Life Gardening. It's filling up quite quickly. I've got some plants in it that were inside, like this amaryllis. So this doesn't really need to be here. I can put it on a shelf, put it down here. It'll still get plenty of light and will grow on. And some other plants like this arum lily are actually just in here to start them off, and then I will be taking them outside. So I can put that over there for now. But shall we have just a look through what's going on here? Asparagus fern houseplant I still haven't taken inside, although I have taken two of them already. And here we've got a salvia. So this is an ornamental salvia. That is waiting for me to take some cuttings so I have more plants. Can I ask a favour? If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment, or both. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you really want to help, please watch another of my videos, because that tells YouTube that you're really enjoying my channel. Thanks. But let's go have a little look through here. So on the 25th of March, I sowed some seeds of filderkraut cabbage. And in this tray, I'm going to sow some cabbage. This is one called filderkraut. It's a pointed cabbage. And I absolutely love them. I grew them for the first time at our old house. And from a March sowing, I was harvesting towards the end of August. And I'm delighted to say that they grew on in their tray, which was this tray. So they were in here, and about a week ago I potted them on into these individual pots. I'm really pleased with the size they're looking. Some of them are a little bit smaller, others are larger. So they'll carry on growing on here for another few days. Then I'll start putting them outside during the day, maybe when it's not quite as blustery as it is today. We've got wind up to 35 miles an hour, which makes me wonder how safe it is to be in the greenhouse. But anyway, it's feeling at the moment fairly solid, she says, checking the door. Do you know, in our last house the greenhouse had an issue. One of the panes, or a couple of the panes at the top of it, were missing. So not in the roof, just in the top of the wall. And I'd sealed them up with some soft plastic and then taped them. Well, actually, rather than me trying to explain, I can show you. Hello. It's sunny today, but it is super, super windy. And it's so windy that the wind is coming through the back of the greenhouse somewhere and vibrating against the plastic sheeting that I put on it, and making the noise that's somewhere between a bumblebee and something less polite. And it's making me smile every time it does it. So I'm going to shut the louver window, see if that helps. It helps a bit. I'm hoping they don't get I might try. I'm going to ignore it now. It's actually really windy outside. My lovely chairs that we were given by the neighbour have been blown over on the decking. Very sensibly, all the birds are inside, not getting blown around in these. What I'm guessing are 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts, because it is mighty fierce. It's warm, but it is fierce. So I've worked out what it is that's causing the noise. The wind is coming in through this gap here, and it's coming up behind this piece of plastic and making it vibrate. So thankfully I don't have the same sort of noise going on in this greenhouse. It is blustery. Is it too blustery to have the window open? I quite like to have some air circulating, so I have opened this window a tiny bit. The one over there is on an automatic vent, so that opens and closes as it needs to. But my concern with such high wind is it will pick the window up and knock it out. So fingers crossed that that doesn't happen. So where have we got to? So we looked at the cabbages, and on that same day I also sowed some kale, some Cavallo Nero, the black kale. Well, that is also doing pretty well. It's time for me to pot this on. I've also sadly noticed that a couple of them have got bites out of them. This one's been nibbled away almost completely, and that's because I found a snail had got in here and had helped itself to that. So the snail is now relocated outside. I'm quite happy for them to live out there, just don't want them in here. So let's have a look, see what else we've got. So I've got a Clematis Jackmanii. I had put 2 cuttings in here. One had definitely failed, but one, well, that's still looking okay, so I'm leaving that to grow on a bit further. I've got some Cosmos seedlings, so these were started off in the house in, I was about to say incubator, so in the propagator in the house. You can see how leggy seedlings get in the house because of the lack of light. So I've brought them out here, and I will be potting these on, if not today, in the next few days. And we saw these last week. These are the red cabbage and the Asturian tree cabbage. They continue to grow steadily. Very happy with how these are coming on. I guess there are 2 fairly big changes in the greenhouse this week. The first is that the chard plants, which were just little seedlings, have been potted on. So I'd grown them in modules, in modules like this, and then each module has now been potted on. You can see I've given them a good water, but they have been potted on and they're growing well. A couple of those have gone to neighbours and friends. Having said that, I've still got probably about 10 or 15 plants more than I need, but I'm going to plant them out in the garden. They won't go to waste, because if we don't eat them, the chickens will. My little trays of beetroot are starting to grow fairly nicely. This is a variety called Alvaro Mono, or Mono Alvaro. I think it's Alvaro Mono. Usually with beetroot, the seeds are little clusters of seeds, whereas if you buy one that says mono, then you're only going to get 1 seed per little clump that you sow. So it actually makes it really easy to know exactly how many plants you're going to have in a module. And likewise, I've got some beetroot boltardi here. I've still got 2 modules, one where they've only just started coming up, and one where they're not coming up yet. But my hope is that they will grow, and then I'll have a tray's worth of those to plant. And at the weekend, my friend Tony came over, so I gave him some of the chard seedlings and swapped them for a huge number of plants. I got a much better part of the bargain. So these are some Florence fennel, so it becomes I'm going to say a bulb. It's a bulb-like, but it's actually a swollen bottom of the stems becomes swollen, and they taste sort of aniseed, licoricey, aniseedy, well, you know, or fennel. And also he brought me some tiny little seedlings of celery. I also need to prick those out. And this one He's already pricked some of these out, and these are celeriac. Told you I got the better part of this deal. He also brought me some crimson crushed tomatoes. These are quite a big tomato, and they are blight resistant, which I think, given our very damp climate, is a really good idea. Then I've got some seedlings of lettuce, a white and a red lettuce. Now these are kind of quite open leaved, so they're cut and come again style. And as a swap for those, I gave Tony some lettuce seeds from some varieties that were originally developed for commercial growers but are now available to home growers. And they're the ones that I've grown umpty times before. Look at these lovely lettuces. Do you know, they remind me of swimming hats from the 1960s and 70s when women wore a rubber swimming cap that usually had flowers and things on it. Looks like one of those. So they're a salad nova type salad leaf. They're not just salad leaves, they actually will form, you know, heads of lettuce, but usually they're harvested as cut and come again. So now I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll have a little look at the shelves over that way. In this tray I've got purple sprouting broccoli and one Asturian tree cabbage over there. The rest of these are purple sprouting, and you know, you will find there's the odd primrose and things that I'm growing on. And here is a selection of butternut squash. I'm so pleased to have these. I will be growing lots of squashes this year, but to have some butternuts on the go this early on is really good. I'll be able to get them into the polytunnel very soon. Down here is the rest of the filderkraut, and over here, I'm really pleased to say, the little lupins. Now, these are not edible, these are ornamental. But most of my lupins died last year. I've still got a few, but a lot of them died, so I'm really pleased to be having those to replace them with. And I don't want to leave the greenhouse without showing you this beautiful clematis. So it's a variety called Alpis. It's not a terribly tall clematis, but look at how many flowers it's got on it. They are absolutely gorgeous. And it's waiting for me to choose its permanent home, and because I can't choose anywhere, it's staying in here. Can you see how the wind is buffeting everything outside? And also, while Tony was here on Saturday, we finished clearing out this raised bed, which Mr. J and I had started the week before. And then I came through early in the week and I've sown a row of parsnips, a very wide, like a double row of broad sowing, three different types of carrots. Then I've put in some banana shallots, and these are ones that I bought at a supermarket for eating, but decided that I would have a go at growing them. So it's probably a bit late to put them in, so I won't get a harvest till maybe August or even September, but I still think it's worth a try. And I've also left some space to put in a few of those yellow chard plants when they get a little bit bigger. And I'm more than thrilled to say that we also completely cleared this bed of all the weeds, and so this is ready for planting up with brassicas when they're big enough. Now what I've got left in here now is some of last year's brassicas. So this is a scarlet kale, there's 2 or 3 of those. I'm leaving them because the flowers are really good for bees and other early pollinators to feed from. And at that end, there's also some elephant garlic that's been in there for, I think it's the 3rd year now, and they're certainly forming like really quite good clumps of elephant garlic, and it'll be interesting to see those when I harvest those in somewhere between the end of June and the end of August. Now there are still plenty of seeds that can be sown for your vegetable garden during May, and so if you want to find out what those seeds are, I'll leave a link on the screen and in the video description. Just click on that link and it'll take you straight through to that video. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one, and I also hope you'll join me again next time.